This title is presented to you by Soundlibra.com. For more audiobooks like this, click the link in the description or visit our website at Soundlibra.com. Welcome to Raise Confident Girls. I'm Alex, beginning our journey together.
And I'm Lisa. Just a quick heads up before we dive into our first episode. We'll be discussing mental health and child development, but please remember this isn't professional medical or psychological advice. It's always a good idea to consult with a qualified professional for your specific situation.
That's an important note, Lisa. Now, in this series, we'll explore powerful ways to build and nurture unwavering confidence in the girls in our lives, setting them up for a life of boldness and assurance. It's a topic so important, and we're excited to explore it.
Exactly. For this first episode, we're laying the foundation. We're talking about why having this unwavering confidence is so incredibly crucial for girls today. It's not just about feeling good, it's about equipping them for life itself. What does a confident girl look like? What does she do?
When I picture a confident girl, I see someone who isn't afraid to try new things, someone who can voice her opinions respectfully, and someone who believes in her own abilities. It's about having that inner strength that helps her navigate challenges.
That's a perfect picture, Alex. That inner strength, that unwavering confidence, is truly the bedrock for everything else. It's the essential ingredient that allows a girl to explore her potential, to take risks, and to bounce back when things don't go as planned. Without it, the world can feel like a much scarier place, and opportunities can seem out of reach.
It really feels like it impacts every area of their lives, doesn't it? From the classroom to friendships to discovering their passions.
Absolutely. And it starts from a very young age. We're often told that girls are naturally more sensitive or perhaps more prone to self-doubt. While there are certainly societal pressures and expectations that can amplify these tendencies, I firmly believe that confidence is something that can be nurtured and strengthened, just like a muscle.
That's such a great analogy, Alex. So, we can actively work on building it. Because I think as parents or caregivers, we have such a huge role to play in that development.
We do. And it's vital for us to be proactive. Societal messages can be powerful. From the toys they're given to the stories they're told, and even how we respond to their successes and failures, these all shape a girl's perception of herself and her capabilities. If girls are constantly shown or subtly told that certain roles or activities are for boys, or that they need to be quiet and agreeable, it can chip away at their confidence before they even truly understand their own potential.
So, it's about actively countering those messages then, and providing a different narrative for them.
Precisely. And that counter-narrative starts with our own beliefs and our actions. When we celebrate their efforts, not just their outcomes, when we encourage them to speak up even when their voice trembles a little, and when we show them that making mistakes is a learning opportunity, not a failure, we are building that unwavering foundation of confidence.
I love the idea of celebrating effort. It takes some of the pressure off needing to be perfect, doesn't it?
It does. And it teaches them resilience, because life will throw curveballs. Academically, socially, physically, there will be moments of doubt and difficulty. But a girl with a strong foundation of confidence is much better equipped to face these challenges head-on. She's more likely to problem solve, to seek support when needed, and to believe that she can overcome obstacles. This is what we mean by an unwavering foundation. It's not about never feeling unsure, but about having an underlying belief in oneself that doesn't crumble at the first sign of trouble.
So, this foundational confidence really sets them up for success in so many domains. You mentioned academics and social situations. What about their overall well-being and self-worth?
That's where the impact is perhaps most profound. When girls feel confident, they tend to have a healthier body image. They are less susceptible to negative peer pressure and more likely to make choices that align with their own values. They are more likely to pursue their interests, whether that's in sports, arts, science, or any other field, without fear of judgment or failure. This confidence allows them to explore who they are and who they want to become.
It's like giving them a powerful internal compass.
Exactly. A compass that guides them toward authenticity and self-acceptance. This journey of building confidence isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing cultivation. Over the next episodes, we're going to explore specific tools and strategies to help you do just that. We'll delve into what boldness truly means and how to nurture it, how to dismantle damaging gender stereotypes that can hold girls back, and how to cultivate that deep sense of self-trust.
We'll also talk about fostering a positive relationship with their bodies, empowering them to find their voices in leadership, learning to be assertive yet respectful, and navigating the complex world of friendships and peer pressure. And, of course, building resilience when things get tough.
And we'll see how all of these pieces come together to create a truly confident and empowered young woman. So, over the next episodes, we're going to embark on a comprehensive exploration. Today, we've just touched on the surface, establishing why this unwavering foundation of confidence is so absolutely critical and why it's our role as parents and caregivers to be intentional about building it.
To recap for our listeners, unwavering confidence is the bedrock for a girl's success and well-being. It empowers her to tackle challenges, explore her potential, maintain healthy self-esteem, and make authentic choices. It's a skill we can actively nurture by celebrating effort, encouraging her voice, and helping her view mistakes as learning opportunities, all while countering societal pressures.
And that's our starting point. The importance of this internal strength cannot be overstated. It's the invisible superpower that helps girls not just survive, but truly thrive.
It sets the stage for everything we'll be discussing in the episodes to come.
Indeed. We've set the stage, and now we're ready to build. Next episode will be Decoding Boldness, what it really means and how we can nurture that quality in our daughters.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Me too. Thanks for listening. Next episode, Decoding Boldness, what it really means and how to nurture it.
Welcome back to Raise Confident Girls. Last time, we laid the unwavering foundation for why confident girls thrive.
And I really loved that opening, Alex. It set such a positive tone. Today, we're diving even deeper into a key component of that confidence, boldness.
Absolutely, Lisa. Boldness. Sometimes people hear that word and they think of being loud or pushy or even aggressive. But that's not what we mean by true boldness, not at all.
So, what is it then, Alex? How do we define boldness in a way that's empowering for girls?
For our purposes here, let's think of boldness as a confident willingness to try new things, to express oneself clearly and respectfully, and to take healthy, calculated risks. It's about having the inner courage to step forward, even when there's a little bit of uncertainty. It's about believing in your own voice and ideas.
That makes a lot of sense. So, it's not about being the loudest person in the room, but about having the conviction to speak up when you have something important to say. Or trying that new activity, even if you're not sure you'll be good at it right away.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Imagine your daughter is at a new park. Timidity might keep her clinging to your leg, afraid to explore. Caution might lead her to observe from a safe distance first, which is perfectly fine. But boldness? Boldness is the whisper that says, I wonder what's over there. It's the step she takes towards the swings, her eyes bright with curiosity. It's the willingness to try the slide, even if it looks a little fast.
And that's a fantastic analogy, Alex. It really highlights the positive, proactive nature of boldness. It's driven by curiosity and a belief in one's own ability to handle the situation rather than fear.
Precisely. And it's so important for both boys and girls, but especially for girls who have historically been socialized to be more reserved. We want to encourage them to be the architects of their own lives, not just passive observers. So, how do we nurture this quality? It starts with the everyday.
That's what I'm wondering. What are some practical, everyday ways parents can help cultivate boldness in their daughters?
One of the most powerful ways is to create opportunities for them to practice making choices. Even small choices. What meal do they want for dinner? Which book should we read tonight? Which outfit do they feel most comfortable in? When children get to exercise their decision-making muscles, they build confidence in their own judgment.
So, giving them agency, even in little things, helps them trust themselves more.
Yes, and it also teaches them that their preferences matter. Another key practice is encouraging them to voice their opinions. At the dinner table, ask open-ended questions. Instead of, did you have a good day? Try, what was the most interesting thing that happened today? Or what did you think about that new game your friend showed you?
And then it's crucial for us as parents to actually listen, right? Not just wait for our turn to talk, but truly hear what they're saying.
Absolutely critical. Active listening shows them that their thoughts and feelings have value. When they express an opinion, even if you don't entirely agree, acknowledge it. You can say something like, that's an interesting perspective. I hadn't thought of it that way. Or, I understand why you feel that way. This validates their voice without necessarily agreeing with the content.
That verbal validation must be so empowering for a child. It tells them, my thoughts are worth hearing. What about trying new things? That's often where timidity can really creep in.
That's a perfect segue. When it comes to trying new activities, whether it's a new sport, a new art class, or even trying new food, our reaction as parents is key. Instead of focusing on perfection or outcomes, focus on the effort and the experience. Praise their willingness to try. I'm so proud of you for giving that a go is far more impactful than you have to be the best at this.
So, celebrate the participation, the bravery of stepping up, rather than just the end result.
Precisely. And this also means allowing them to experience occasional struggle or minor failure without swooping in to fix it immediately. When a child faces a small challenge, maybe they can't quite master a new skill in a game, or a drawing doesn't turn out exactly as they imagined, and they work through it themselves, that builds immense resilience and a quiet internal boldness. They learn, I can handle this.
That's a tough one for parents, isn't it? Our first instinct is often to rescue. But you're saying that allowing them to navigate those small bumps is actually building their boldness for larger challenges down the road.
It is tough. It requires immense patience. But think of it as skill building for life. We're not trying to raise children who never face obstacles, but daughters who feel capable of facing them. This also ties into encouraging healthy risk taking. And I want to stress healthy, calculated risks, not reckless behavior.
Can you give us an example of a healthy risk?
Sure, it could be signing up for a school play when they're nervous about public speaking. It could be approaching a new group of kids at the playground. It could be attempting a more challenging climbing route on the jungle gym. The common thread is that there's a potential for success, but also a chance of not succeeding perfectly, and the child has the inner resources to cope with either outcome. Our role is to be their supportive sideline, cheering them on and reminding them of their strengths, rather than dictating the outcome.
And I think a key differentiator you mentioned is distinguishing boldness from aggression. How do we teach our daughters to be bold without becoming aggressive?
This is where teaching assertive communication comes in. Boldness is about expressing your needs and opinions clearly and respectfully. Aggression is about doing so at the expense of others. We can model this, and we can coach them. When a younger child is being loud and demanding, we can say, it's great that you want that toy, but we need to use our kind words. We can ask, may I please have a turn?
So, it's about teaching the difference between, I want it now, and I would like a turn, please.
Exactly. And it's about teaching them to stand up for themselves without putting others down. We want them to be bold enough to say no to things that make them uncomfortable, but to do so with a clear, firm voice, not with anger or insults. We also want them to be bold enough to stand up for others who might be struggling.
It sounds like creating an environment where honest communication is valued and where mistakes are seen as learning opportunities is really the bedrock of nurturing boldness.
It is. So, to recap what we've discussed today, boldness isn't about being loud or aggressive. It's about a confident willingness to try new things, express oneself respectfully, and take healthy risks. We nurture it by offering choices, encouraging opinions, actively listening, praising effort over outcome, allowing for manageable struggles, and teaching assertive communication.
And those are such actionable takeaways for any parent. It's about small, consistent steps that build a child's inner confidence and willingness to step into the world.
Absolutely. And remember, this is a journey. There will be days when your daughter feels incredibly bold and days when she's more reserved. Our role is to keep offering those opportunities and that supportive environment.
I'm already thinking about how I can apply this today. Next episode, challenging the norms, dismantling gender stereotypes for stronger daughters.
It certainly is. Join us then as we continue building a foundation for our daughters to thrive. Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Last time we explored boldness. Now let's challenge stereotypes.
That's right, Alex. Gender stereotypes, those often unspoken rules about what boys and girls should be like, can really put a cap on a girl's confidence and aspirations. They whisper limitations from nearly everywhere. In the media we consume, the toys our kids play with, even in the language we use without realizing it. This episode is all about equipping parents with the tools to help their daughters see past these expectations and feel empowered to explore any interest, forge their own paths, and define success on their own terms.
Exactly. Let's start with identifying these stereotypes. They're everywhere, aren't they? Think about traditional views. Girls are nurturing, quiet, emotional, interested in dolls and domestic play. Boys are strong, assertive, analytical, interested in building and competition. While there's nothing inherently wrong with any of these traits, the problem arises when these become rigid boxes that girls are expected to fit into and boys are not expected to. The stereotype says girls shouldn't be too competitive or too loud or too interested in science and math.
And it's not just about external messaging. We, as parents and caregivers, often hold unconscious biases too. We might praise a son for being a natural leader, while a daughter doing the same thing is called bossy. We might buy a daughter a dollhouse and a son a building set without a second thought. These are often well-intentioned actions, but they reinforce the idea that certain activities and roles are gendered. So, how can we, as parents, start to actively dismantle these in our own homes?
The first step is awareness. Just like you said, Lisa, we need to become conscious of the messages we're sending. This starts with our language. Instead of saying, that's a tough job for a girl, try that's a challenging job. Instead of praising a girl for being pretty and quiet, praise her for her intelligence, her problem-solving skills, or her courage. We need to use inclusive language that doesn't automatically assign traits based on gender. For example, instead of saying policemen, we can say police officers.
That makes sense. It's about broad, empowering language. And what about toys and activities? So many toys are marketed specifically to boys or girls.
It's a huge area. We need to actively push back against that marketing. Encourage your daughters to play with building blocks, science kits, or anything that sparks their curiosity, regardless of whether the box has a stereotypical image on it. And it's not just about what toys they have, but how they engage with them. If a daughter shows an interest in engineering by building elaborate structures, foster that. If a son wants to play with a doll and practice nurturing, encourage that too. We're aiming for balance and interest-driven exploration, not gender policing.
I remember reading something about how even certain colors become gendered: blue for boys, pink for girls. It seems so arbitrary when you think about it, but it's deeply ingrained from a very young age.
Absolutely. And this extends to media consumption. Many children's shows, movies, and books still fall back on old stereotypes. Characters are often depicted in traditional roles: the princess needing rescue, the male adventurer. We need to be critical viewers and readers and actively seek out and promote media that shows girls and women in diverse, powerful, and unconventional roles. Look for stories where girls are the innovators, the leaders, the problem solvers.
So, it's about being a conscious consumer of culture and making intentional choices. What about encouraging daughters to pursue interests that might be seen as less feminine? For example, sports or STEM fields.
That's a critical area where stereotypes can really hold girls back. Girls might shy away from math and science because they're told girls aren't good at that, or simply because they don't see many role models. The same goes for physically demanding sports. We need to actively counter these narratives. If your daughter shows an aptitude or interest in STEM, celebrate it. Sign her up for coding camps, science clubs, or math competitions. And for sports, encourage her to try any sport she's interested in. Highlight female athletes who are breaking boundaries and achieving great things.
It feels like a continuous process of reinforcement. It's not enough to just say it once. It needs to be a consistent message.
Precisely. And consistency is key. It's also about fostering self-trust. When we empower girls to ignore limiting stereotypes and pursue their passions, we are building their inner certainty. They learn to trust their own judgment and their own capabilities, even when faced with societal pressure. This directly ties back to our previous discussions on confidence and boldness. When girls are told they can do anything, and then they are supported in doing it, their confidence soars.
So, to recap, challenging gender stereotypes involves a multi-pronged approach. First, becoming aware of the stereotypes and the unconscious biases we might hold. Second, consciously choosing inclusive language in our daily conversations. Third, providing a range of toys and activities that aren't dictated by gender and encouraging exploration. Fourth, being critical consumers of media and seeking out diverse role models. And fifth, actively encouraging daughters to pursue interests in STEM and sports that may have been historically gendered.
That's a fantastic summary, Lisa. It's about breaking down those invisible walls that society can sometimes build around our daughters. It's about teaching them that their potential is limitless, not defined by what a stereotype says a girl should be or do. This is how we help them define their own paths, their own definitions of success, and ultimately lead more fulfilling and empowered lives.
It's such important work. And the more we actively dismantle these norms, the more we create a future where all children, regardless of gender, have an equal opportunity to discover and pursue their true passions.
Absolutely. And it's a journey, not a destination. We'll be continuing this journey in the next episode, where we delve into the crucial skill of cultivating inner certainty, the art of self-trust.
Looking forward to it.
Next episode, the art of self-trust, cultivating inner certainty. Welcome back to Raise Confident Girls. Last time, we explored how to challenge gender stereotypes. Today, we're discussing the bedrock of confidence, the art of self-trust.
Self-trust. It's about believing in yourself, right?
Exactly. It's that inner voice that says, I can handle this. For girls, developing self-trust is like building a solid internal compass. It guides them through uncertainty and shapes how they see themselves. This inner compass is a vital tool.
So it's not just about external praise, but a deeper internal knowing?
Precisely. Remember nurturing boldness? That stems from believing your ideas are worth sharing. That belief is built on self-trust. Challenging gender norms also encourage girls to trust their unique preferences and abilities.
That makes sense. When a girl trusts herself, she's more likely to try new things because she believes she can figure them out.
Absolutely. We cultivate this by empowering them to make choices, even small ones, and then trusting those decisions. Letting your daughter pick her own outfit, even if mismatched, allows her to learn what she likes. It's a tiny act of trusting her own taste.
So we allow them to learn from their own experiences rather than always guiding them?
That's the key. If a choice leads to a minor consequence, like wearing sandals on a chilly day, instead of saying, "I told you so," help them reflect, "How did that feel?" This process helps them connect choices to experiences and learn from them, building their capacity to trust their judgment later.
That's a gentle way to approach it. It's like a feedback loop for their decision-making skills, refining their internal compass.
It is. We also help them listen to their intuition. Our gut feelings are a powerful form of self-trust. Encourage girls to pay attention, asking, "How does that situation make you feel?" Or "What does that little voice inside you say?" can help them tune into their intuition.
That little voice inside. It makes it feel more tangible for a child.
It does. And validate their intuition, even if it seems illogical to us. If a girl feels uncomfortable around someone, it's important to acknowledge her feelings, saying, "I hear you, and it's okay to feel that way. Your feelings are important," reinforces that her internal compass is reliable. This helps them maintain boundaries.
So, even if we don't fully understand why they feel a certain way, we trust that they are feeling it. Trusting their internal experience is paramount.
Exactly. And we encourage them to trust their capabilities, to believe they can learn and grow. This is where a growth mindset comes in. When a girl struggles, instead of saying, "You're just not good at this," reframe it. "This is tricky, isn't it? What can we try differently?" This frames challenges as temporary hurdles, not limitations.
So we're teaching them to trust their ability to learn and adapt, rather than just instantly being good at something. It's trusting the learning process itself.
Precisely. It's about trusting the process of learning. And this extends to problem solving. When they face a problem, resist the urge to solve it for them. Instead, break it down. Ask, "What's the problem? What are some ways we could approach this? What do you think might happen if we try that?" This guided problem solving builds their confidence in tackling challenges independently.
So, we create opportunities for her to be her own problem solver, decision maker, and intuition listener, and then validate those experiences. It's about empowering her to use her internal compass.
That's a fantastic summary, Lisa. We provide scaffolding, but allow them to build the structure. This supported independence fosters profound self-trust. When girls trust themselves, they're less susceptible to external pressures. They have a strong internal anchor.
It's like building resilience from the inside out. If you trust your own judgment, external doubts have less power.
Absolutely. And remember, this is an ongoing aspect of parenting. It's about consistently demonstrating that you value their thoughts, feelings, and capacity to learn and grow. Show them, through your actions, that you believe they're capable of navigating their world.
So, to recap, cultivating self-trust in girls involves encouraging choices and learning from outcomes, helping them recognize and value their intuition, and fostering belief in their ability to learn and solve problems. These are the core pillars of inner certainty.
Beautifully put. When girls learn to trust their inner voice and capabilities, they are empowered to lead authentic lives, make sound decisions, and face challenges with unshakable confidence. This internal certainty is the most important gift we can give them.
It truly is the cornerstone, and it builds on nurturing boldness and challenging norms, all feed into self-trust.
It really does. And as we move forward, we'll see how this foundation supports specific areas of growth. Our next episode delves into body positivity.
Fostering a positive relationship with their bodies, that sounds crucial.
It is. So join us next time as we explore the power of body positivity and helping our daughters feel strong and confident in their own skin. Happy learning! Welcome back. Last time, we delved into the art of self-trust. Today, we're tackling body positivity power.
It's such a critical topic, Alex, and one that so many parents grapple with. The messages our girls receive about their bodies can be confusing and damaging.
Absolutely, Lisa. So what does body positivity really mean? At its core, it's about respecting, appreciating, and caring for their bodies because they're their bodies, regardless of external standards.
That distinction is so important. It's about a fundamental sense of acceptance for the incredible vessel that carries them through life, rather than striving for an unattainable ideal.
Exactly. Think about it. Remember how we talked about self-trust? Body positivity is a powerful extension of that. If a girl trusts herself, she's more likely to trust her body signals and to value its function over its perceived aesthetic.
And that challenges those norms we discussed earlier, too. The idea that a girl's worth is tied to her appearance is one of the most pervasive gender stereotypes we need to dismantle.
Precisely. So, how do we actively foster this positive relationship? The first step is often in our own behavior and language. Our daughters are listening. Do we frequently talk about our own perceived flaws? Do we obsess over diets or weight?
Oh, that's a tough one. I know I've caught myself doing that without even thinking. It's like we're unconsciously passing on these anxieties.
It's a learned pattern, but we can choose to break it. Instead of focusing on appearance, let's shift the conversation to what our bodies do for us. Celebrate strength, energy, and health. Instead of saying, "You look so thin today," try, "You have so much energy. What a great run you had."
That's a wonderful reframing. Focusing on function and capability. My daughter loves to play soccer. When I tell her how fast she ran or how strong her kick was, it highlights her abilities, not just how she looks on the field.
Yes, and we can extend that to appreciating the diversity of bodies. Our daughters are bombarded with images of one specific body type. We need to actively show them that all sorts of bodies are healthy and beautiful. This can mean pointing out the amazing athleticism of different athletes, or simply acknowledging the variety in people around us.
So, it's about broadening their definition of what's considered normal or beautiful. It's not a rigid mold, but a beautiful spectrum.
That's right. Another key element is helping them develop critical thinking skills about media messages. When you see an advertisement or a social media post that seems to promote an unrealistic ideal, talk about it. Ask questions like, do you think that picture is real? How might they have changed it?
That's a fantastic way to encourage media literacy. It empowers them to question what they see instead of blindly accepting it.
And when they do have negative thoughts about their bodies, it's crucial to respond with empathy and understanding, not dismissal. Instead of saying, "Oh, don't be silly, you look fine, try," it sounds like you're feeling uncomfortable with how you look right now. Can you tell me more about that?
This creates a safe space for them to express their feelings without judgment, which then allows us to guide them towards more positive perspectives. It ties back to cultivating that inner certainty.
Absolutely. And we can encourage them to focus on health and well-being, not just weight or size. This means promoting balanced nutrition, regular physical activity they enjoy, and sufficient sleep. It's about nurturing their bodies from the inside out. A healthy body is a strong body, and a strong body is something to be proud of.
So, it's less about the number on the scale and more about overall vitality and feeling good. That's a much healthier goal for them to strive for.
It really is. And this extends to encouraging activities that build confidence in their physical abilities. Think about sports, dance, martial arts, or even just playing outdoors. These activities help them appreciate what their bodies can do, fostering a sense of competence and power.
That's a great point. When my daughter learned to ride her bike without training wheels, the sheer joy and pride on her face were incredible. It wasn't about her appearance, it was about mastering a skill and the freedom it gave her.
Exactly. Those are the moments we want to highlight. And finally, let's touch on self-care. Teaching girls to listen to their bodies and practice self-care. Whether it's resting when they're tired, choosing nourishing foods, or engaging in activities that bring them peace, is a profound way to show them their bodies deserve kindness and attention.
So, to recap, building body positivity power for our daughters involves: first, modeling positive self-talk and focusing on our own body's capabilities rather than perceived flaws. Second, celebrating the diversity of bodies and challenging media stereotypes. Third, developing their critical thinking skills about media messages. Fourth, responding with empathy to their body image concerns and guiding them towards positive perspectives. Fifth, prioritizing health and well-being over weight and encouraging activities that build physical confidence. And sixth, teaching them the importance of self-care and listening to their bodies.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. These are not quick fixes, but ongoing conversations and practices. By consistently reinforcing these messages, we help our daughters develop a resilient and loving relationship with their bodies, which is a cornerstone of healthy self-esteem and a confident life.
It's a journey, for sure, but one that yields incredible rewards in raising strong, self-assured daughters.
Next episode, we'll explore how to nurture the voices of leadership within our daughters, empowering them to step up and shine. Welcome back to Raise Confident Girls. Last time, we explored the vital importance of body positivity. Now, let's explore voices of leadership.
That's right, Alex. And it's such a powerful progression from self-trust and boldness. When girls feel confident in themselves and are encouraged to be bold, leadership naturally starts to bloom. So, Alex, what does leadership for young girls even look like? It's not always about being the class president, is it?
Absolutely not, Lisa. Leadership for girls can manifest in so many beautiful and diverse ways. At its core, it's about positively influencing others, taking initiative, and making a difference. Think about a girl who organizes a neighborhood cleanup or one who stands up for a friend who's being treated unfairly. That's leadership in action. It's about being a problem solver, a good communicator, and someone who inspires others through their actions and ideas.
So, it's more about action and impact than a title. I like that. How can parents and educators identify and nurture this potential in girls? Sometimes, perhaps, we don't recognize it because it doesn't fit our traditional mold of what a leader looks like.
That's a very insightful point, Lisa. We need to look beyond the loudest voices or the most dominant personalities. Leadership potential often shines through in quiet confidence, in a child's natural curiosity, or their desire to help others understand something. Watch for girls who are always asking why, or who naturally take charge of activities in a cooperative way. Do they enjoy working in groups and ensuring everyone has a chance to contribute? Do they show empathy and try to understand different perspectives? These are all early indicators of strong leadership qualities.
I remember my niece. She's always been the one to make sure everyone gets a turn during board games, and she's great at explaining the rules to new players. We just thought she was being helpful, but I can see now that's a form of leadership, guiding the group and ensuring a positive experience for everyone.
Exactly. You're fostering a sense of shared experience and cooperation. To nurture this, we can create opportunities for girls to practice leading. This could be as simple as letting them plan a family outing, taking the lead on a household chore that requires coordination, or encouraging them to voice their ideas during family discussion. It's about giving them the space to experiment and learn.
And what kind of skills are we hoping to develop through these opportunities? Beyond just taking charge, what makes a girl a truly effective leader?
Several key skills come to mind, and they all build upon that foundation of confidence we've discussed. First, problem solving. Encourage girls to think critically about challenges and brainstorm solutions. Instead of jumping in to fix things for them, ask, what do you think we should do here? Or what are some ways we could approach this problem?
That's a great way to encourage independent thinking. It's so tempting to just give them the answer, but allowing them to struggle and find their own way is so much more valuable for their long-term growth.
Precisely. Another crucial skill is communication. This isn't just about speaking up, but also about listening attentively. When girls are encouraged to share their thoughts and feelings, and when they see their ideas being heard and valued, they become more comfortable expressing themselves. We also need to emphasize empathy. True leaders understand and connect with the emotions and perspectives of others. Encouraging them to consider how their actions might affect others is vital.
So, by asking them to consider how others might feel, we're building empathy, which is key to understanding and motivating people later on.
You've got it. And finally, resilience. Leadership isn't always smooth sailing. There will be setbacks, disagreements, and times when things don't go as planned. Helping girls understand that failure isn't the end, but rather a chance to learn and grow, is paramount. We want them to be able to bounce back stronger. Consider how we frame mistakes. Instead of saying, "that was a mistake," we can say, "that was an interesting outcome. What do we learn from this?"
That shift in language is so important. It reframes the experience from something negative to a learning opportunity. We've talked about nurturing leadership at home and in smaller groups. What about encouraging leadership in their broader community or school?
That's where encouraging them to find their voice becomes so critical. This ties directly back to our previous episodes on boldness. It means empowering them to speak their minds, to advocate for their beliefs, and to contribute their unique perspectives. It could start with joining a school club, participating in a debate, or even volunteering for a cause they care about. The key is to support their interests and help them see how they can make a tangible difference.
And this connects beautifully with our upcoming episode on assertiveness. It's about finding that balance of being confident and clear without being aggressive.
Exactly. Leadership and assertiveness are closely linked. We want girls to be able to voice their needs and opinions clearly and respectfully. When girls feel empowered to lead, they develop a stronger sense of self-worth and a belief in their own capabilities. They learn that their contributions matter and that they have the power to shape their own lives and the world around them.
It sounds like we're empowering them to be agents of change, not just passengers in life. It's about moving from thinking, "I can't," to "how can I?"
That's a perfect way to put it, Lisa. We're cultivating a mindset where challenges are seen as opportunities and where they understand the power of their own voice and actions. We want them to see themselves as capable individuals who can positively influence and lead.
So, to recap for our listeners, leadership for girls is about initiative, problem solving, and positive influence. We nurture it by creating opportunities, encouraging critical thinking, fostering empathy, and teaching resilience. And it all starts by recognizing and supporting their unique strengths and helping them find their voice to make a difference.
That's a wonderful summary, Lisa. We've covered so much ground today, from identifying leadership potential to developing those essential skills. It's all about empowering girls to believe in their ability to lead, to inspire, and to make a positive impact.
It really is. And thinking about how these skills translate to speaking up for oneself, I'm really looking forward to our next episode.
Me too. Next episode, we'll be tackling the assertiveness advantage, speaking your truth with respect. Welcome back. Today's topic is assertiveness, teaching daughters to speak their truth.
Assertiveness. It sounds straightforward, but it's something many people, adults included, struggle with. It's about being able to speak your truth, express your needs, and set boundaries, but in a way that respects others. It's not about being aggressive, and it's definitely not about being a doormat.
Exactly, Lisa. Let's start by clearly defining what assertiveness is, and perhaps more importantly, what it isn't. Often, people confuse assertiveness with aggression. Aggression involves pushing your own needs or opinions forward without regard for others, sometimes through intimidation or hostility. It's saying, I win, you lose.
And then there's passivity, which is the opposite end of the spectrum. That's when you put others' needs far above your own, often to your own detriment. You might struggle to say no, avoid conflict at all costs, or let others make decisions for you. It's like saying, you win, I lose.
So, where does assertiveness fit in? Assertiveness is the healthy middle ground. It's about clearly and directly stating your thoughts, feelings, and needs in a way that is honest and respectful of yourself and others. It's a collaborative approach, aiming for a win-win situation. It's saying, I matter and you matter.
That's a great way to put it, Alex. I matter and you matter. So, how do we teach our daughters to embody that? What are some practical strategies for expressing their needs, opinions, and boundaries clearly and respectfully?
A fantastic starting point is teaching them to use I statements. Instead of saying, you always ignore me, which sounds accusatory and can make someone defensive, an assertive approach would be, I feel unheard when I'm trying to speak. I would like to share my idea.
Oh, that makes a big difference. It focuses on the speaker's feelings and needs without blaming the other person. Can you give us another example of using I statements?
Certainly. Imagine a scenario where a daughter is asked to do something she genuinely doesn't have time for. Passively, she might say, okay, sure. Aggressively, she might snap, no way, I'm busy. Assertively, she could say, I understand you need help with that, but I'm currently working on my own project. Can we look at this later? Or is there someone else who could assist right now?
That's so clear. It validates the other person's request while still setting a boundary about her own availability. It's about finding solutions together.
Precisely. And practicing these skills is key. We can create safe spaces at home for role-playing. Imagine your daughter wants to borrow a favorite toy, but it's being used by a sibling. We can practice scenarios. How can you ask for the toy assertively? Or your daughter has a disagreement with a friend. How can she express her feelings about the situation respectfully?
Role-playing is such a powerful tool. It allows them to practice without real-world consequences. What about setting boundaries? That's a big part of assertiveness, isn't it?
Absolutely. Boundaries are like invisible lines that protect our personal space, our emotions, and our time. Teaching daughters to recognize their own boundaries and communicate them is vital. This could be as simple as, I don't want to be tickled right now, or as complex as, I'm not comfortable talking about that topic. It's crucial they understand that saying no is not selfish, it's self-preservation.
And it's okay for them to say no. That's a really important message. Sometimes I think we internalize that saying no is impolite, but when it comes to our own well-being, it's essential.
It truly is. Another technique is teaching them the power of assertive body language. This isn't about overpowering someone, but about presenting yourself with confidence. Standing or sitting up straight, making eye contact when speaking, and having a clear, steady voice all communicate that you are confident and that your message is important.
So, it's not just what you say, but how you say it. That makes a lot of sense. Imagine a girl who's being pushed around on the playground. Instead of shrinking away, if she can stand tall, look the other child in the eye, and say in a clear voice, please stop. That's assertiveness in action.
Exactly. And it's important to affirm them when they do use assertive communication. Even if the outcome isn't perfect, acknowledge the effort. I really like how you explained your feelings to your friend, even though it was hard. This positive reinforcement encourages them to continue practicing these valuable skills.
It's like building a muscle. The more they use it, the stronger it becomes. Now, you mentioned earlier that assertiveness isn't aggression. Can we delve a little deeper into how to distinguish between the two, especially for younger girls who might not have fully developed emotional regulation?
That's a great question, Lisa. With younger children, it's about guiding them towards expressing frustration or disagreement without resorting to shouting, hitting, or name-calling. We can teach them phrases like, I'm feeling angry because, or I don't like it when you do that. Can we try something else? The key difference is the respect for the other person's feelings and rights. If their communication is causing distress or fear in others, it's likely crossing into aggression.
And that awareness of how their words and actions affect others is so important. It's not just about expressing themselves, but about doing so constructively.
Right. So, to summarize what we've covered today, assertiveness is the ability to express your needs, thoughts, and feelings clearly and respectfully without being aggressive or passive. We can teach our daughters to use I statements, practice role playing, help them establish and communicate boundaries, and encourage confident body language. And importantly, we need to validate and praise their efforts to be assertive.
I matter and you matter. That's the core message. By empowering our daughters to speak their truth with respect, we are giving them a powerful tool for building healthy relationships and navigating the world with confidence. It's about fostering self-advocacy in a way that's kind and effective.
Indeed, these skills will serve them in every aspect of their lives, from friendships and family to academics and future careers. It's a foundational element of confidence.
I love how this ties into our previous discussions about leadership and self-trust. Being assertive is a tangible way to demonstrate both.
Absolutely. And speaking of navigating life's challenges, next time we'll be exploring how our daughters can handle peer pressure and build strong, healthy friendships. That's episode 8, Navigating the Social Seas.
Looking forward to it, Alex.
Me too, Lisa. For our listeners, keep practicing those I statements and positive affirmations at home. Until next time, keep raising those confident girls. Welcome back to Raise Confident Girls. Today, we navigate peer pressure in friendships.
That's right, Alex. This is a crucial area. Our daughters are constantly interacting with others, and learning to do so confidently is vital. We've talked about self-trust and assertiveness, and those skills will be our bedrock.
Absolutely, Lisa. Friendships are important for development, teaching empathy and cooperation. But they can also be challenging. Peer pressure can be subtle or overt, and it's all about navigating that influence while staying true to oneself.
And staying true to oneself is exactly where the confidence we've been building comes in. When a girl truly trusts her own instincts and feels good about who she is, she's much less likely to be swayed by negative peer pressure. She has an inner compass.
Exactly. So, how do we equip our daughters? First, it's about fostering strong communication skills. Remember our episode on assertiveness? That's precisely what they need here. It's not about being aggressive. It's about being clear and respectful.
So, instead of just saying yes to something they're uncomfortable with, they can learn to say no politely or I don't think that's for me. It's about articulating their own boundaries and feelings.
Precisely. And this is where we can bring in some practical scenarios. Imagine a group of friends is pressuring someone to try something new that feels wrong. Instead of just going along to fit in, a confident girl might say, "Thanks for the offer, but I'm not comfortable with that right now." Or, "I've got other plans," or even, "I'll just watch."
Those are great examples, Alex. They offer a way out without causing a huge conflict. It's about having those phrases ready, practicing them, and understanding that it's okay to be different or to not participate in everything.
And it's also about choosing your friends wisely. We want our daughters to seek out friendships that are supportive and uplifting, not those that constantly challenge their values or make them feel bad about themselves. Are their friends encouraging their best self, or are they bringing them down?
That's a really good way to put it. It's a subtle but important distinction. When your daughter comes home, you can gently encourage her to talk about her friends' qualities. What do they like about them? How do they make her feel? This opens the door for conversations about healthy versus unhealthy friendships.
And we can also teach them to recognize the signs of unhealthy friendships. This might include always feeling criticized, having a lot of friends, or feeling like they're walking on eggshells. These are all indicators that something isn't quite right.
I often think of friendships like a garden, Alex. You want to weed out the plants that are taking over and not allowing others to grow. You want to nurture the ones that are beautiful and supportive. Our daughters need to feel empowered to do that weeding if necessary.
That's a fantastic analogy, Lisa. So, to sum up this part, equip them with assertiveness, encourage them to recognize unhealthy dynamics, and foster open communication about their social lives.
And remember the importance of self-trust again. If something feels off in a friendship, their intuition is usually right. Encourage them to listen to that inner voice. It's like a little alarm system within them.
A little alarm system. I like that. It's about empowering them to be the captains of their own social ships. Now, let's pivot slightly to how these social skills translate into making strong choices. Peer pressure often manifests as a temptation to make a poor decision.
Right. It's not just about saying no to something bad. It's also about saying yes to what's right for them, even if it's not the popular choice. This could be choosing to study instead of going to a party or speaking up for someone being bullied.
And this is where we circle back to that self-trust we discussed earlier. When a girl feels confident in her own judgment, she's more likely to make those positive choices, even under pressure. She knows her own values and priorities.
It's like building a strong internal framework. If that framework is solid, external pressures are less likely to shake it. We often hear parents worry about their daughters going along with the crowd. But a confident girl is often the one who subtly influences the crowd towards better choices, or at least maintains her own integrity.
That's a powerful thought. It's not always about resistance. It's about authentic leadership, even in small ways. So, we've talked about handling peer pressure and building healthy friendships. Let's also touch on the importance of empathy and kindness in all their interactions.
Absolutely. Confidence shouldn't mean arrogance or a lack of consideration for others. True confidence often comes with a greater capacity for empathy. When you feel secure, you're less threatened by others and more able to understand their perspectives.
And that empathy is key to building lasting, meaningful friendships. It's about listening, understanding, and being a supportive friend in return. It's a two-way street. We want our daughters to be good friends, just as we want them to have good friends.
So, to recap what we've covered in this episode, Alex, we've emphasized the power of assertiveness in navigating social situations and handling peer pressure. We've discussed the importance of choosing supportive friends and recognizing unhealthy friendships. We also highlighted how self-trust acts as an internal compass for making good choices and the vital role of empathy and kindness in all social interactions. These are all interconnected skills that contribute to a girl's overall social confidence.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. Fostering confidence in social situations is an ongoing process. It's about equipping our daughters with the tools to understand themselves, communicate effectively, and build relationships that nourish their spirit. These are the foundations for a fulfilling social life.
And remember, parents, encourage open conversations. Ask questions. Listen without judgment. The more your daughter feels heard and understood, the more confident she'll be in navigating any social scenario. These skills, built on the foundation of self-trust and assertiveness, will serve them incredibly well.
Indeed, we've covered a lot about navigating the social seas today. In our next episode, we'll shift gears and focus on academic confidence, exploring how to empower our daughters' intellectual pursuits.
Next episode, Academic Aces, Confidence in Learning and Intellectual Pursuit.
Welcome back. Last time we covered navigating peer pressure in friendships. Now let's tackle academic confidence.
That's right, Alex. We've talked a lot about building general confidence, boldness, and self-trust. Now we're focusing that power onto their schoolwork and their natural curiosity. How can we ensure they feel capable and enthusiastic when it comes to academic pursuits?
It really starts with understanding what academic confidence means. It's not just about getting good grades. It's about a daughter's belief in her ability to learn, to understand new concepts, to ask questions, and to persevere when things get tough. It's about her willingness to engage with intellectual challenges.
So, it's more about the process and the mindset than just the outcome. That makes sense. Because I think sometimes parents can inadvertently put too much pressure on grades, which can actually backfire and create anxiety instead of confidence.
Exactly. And that's where fostering a growth mindset comes in. This is a concept developed by Dr. Carol Dweck. It's the idea that our abilities and intelligence aren't fixed traits, but can be developed through dedication and hard work.
Ah, the growth mindset. I've heard of that. So, instead of saying, you're so smart, which implies intelligence is innate, a growth mindset would focus on praise for effort, strategy, and persistence.
Precisely, Lisa. When we praise effort, wow, you worked really hard on that problem, or I see how you tried different approaches to solve that. We're telling our daughters that their actions make a difference. We're reinforcing that learning is a journey, not a destination where you either are smart or are not.
That's a powerful shift. And it's about teaching them that mistakes aren't failures, but opportunities to learn. How can parents specifically encourage this, especially when a daughter is struggling with a subject?
One key way is to reframe setbacks. Instead of saying, oh, you didn't understand this piece of math, we can say this concept is tricky, isn't it? Let's look at it from another angle. It's about problem solving together and normalizing the struggle. We can also encourage them to ask for help.
Asking for help can be a big hurdle for some kids, can it? They might see it as a sign of weakness.
It absolutely can. And this is where we can link back to our earlier episodes on boldness and self-trust. Asking for help is an act of self-advocacy. It shows they recognize their needs and are taking steps to meet them. We can teach them how to ask questions effectively. For instance, to articulate what they do understand and where their confusion begins.
So, it's about empowering them to be active participants in their own learning, not just passive recipients of information. What about celebrating curiosity? That feels like a big part of academic engagement.
It's huge. Curiosity is the engine of learning. We can nurture it by encouraging open-ended questions, even if they're not directly related to the curriculum. If your daughter asks, why is the sky blue? And you know the answer, great. If you don't say, that's a fantastic question. Let's find out together. This models a love of learning for its own sake.
And that also means valuing the process of discovery. Sometimes the most exciting learning happens when a child stumbles upon something unexpected through exploration. It's not always planned by the curriculum.
Absolutely. And when it comes to supporting their academic journey, it's also about providing the right environment. This means a quiet space for homework, yes, but also ensuring they have the necessary resources. More importantly, it means showing genuine interest in what they are learning. Ask them to explain a concept to you, even if it's something you already know.
Oh, that's a great tip. Having them teach us can really solidify their own understanding. It's like they become the expert in that moment.
Exactly. And it shows we value their intellectual contributions. We also want to encourage them to explore subjects that genuinely interest them beyond the mandatory curriculum. Whether it's a passion for ancient history, coding, or creative writing, supporting these independent explorations builds immense confidence and a lifelong love of learning.
This ties into our previous discussions about encouraging passions. It highlights that academic success isn't confined to traditional subjects. It encompasses all areas of intellectual pursuit where a daughter can apply her mind and creativity.
Right? Now, handling academic challenges is a big part of this. When challenges arise, like a difficult assignment or a subject they find particularly hard, it's our job to equip them with strategies. Beyond asking for help, these strategies can include breaking down large tasks into smaller, manageable steps.
I can see how that would reduce overwhelm, turning a mountain into a series of small hills.
Precisely. We can also encourage them to use different learning methods. If reading a textbook isn't working, maybe they can watch a documentary, listen to a podcast, or even build a model related to the topic. The goal is to find what clicks for them. This builds their confidence in their ability to adapt and find their own learning path.
So, it's about empowering them with a toolbox of learning strategies. And throughout all of this, celebrating their intellectual curiosity and effort is paramount.
Yes, we want our daughters to see learning as an adventure, not a chore. When they feel confident in their ability to learn and tackle challenges, they're more likely to engage deeply, ask thoughtful questions, and discover the joy of intellectual exploration. This confidence spills over into every aspect of their lives, just as we've seen with boldness and self-trust. Remember, it's not about being perfect, but about growing and learning from every experience. By fostering a growth mindset, encouraging curiosity, and providing support, we are helping our daughters become confident, lifelong learners.
So, to recap, we've focused on nurturing academic confidence by promoting a growth mindset through praising effort, reframing setbacks as learning opportunities, empowering daughters to ask for help as a strength, celebrating and supporting their natural curiosity, providing resources and showing genuine interest, and equipping them with strategies to tackle academic challenges. It's all about making them feel capable and excited about exploring the world of knowledge.
Absolutely. And this sets them up not just for success in school, but for a fulfilling and engaged life.
Fantastic. Next episode, confidence in sports and physical activities.
Get ready to explore the power of play. You won't want to miss it. Welcome back, everyone. Last time we covered confidence in learning. Now let's tackle sports and physical activity.
That's right, Alex. Today, we're focusing on how physical activity can build mighty confidence in our daughters. It's about learning to trust their bodies and discover their own power, which ties into our earlier discussions on body positivity and assertiveness.
Absolutely. From the playground to the sports field, movement is fundamental. It's not just about winning or losing. It's about how physical activity helps girls discover their capability and build a robust sense of self. Think about it. When a child masters a new skill like riding a bike or kicking a soccer ball, that feeling of accomplishment is immense.
It really is. It's a direct experience of their own ability. Unlike some abstract concepts, this is tangible. They feel stronger, see they can do more, and that builds a foundational layer of confidence. This ties back beautifully to our episode on body positivity, doesn't it? It's about appreciating what our bodies can do, not just how they look.
Exactly. When girls are encouraged to play and be active, they learn to trust their bodies. They discover coordination, strength, and endurance. This isn't just about being athletic. It's about developing a healthy relationship with their physical selves. So, how can we encourage this play with might?
A great starting point is simply to make movement a regular, enjoyable part of life. It doesn't have to be competitive team sports right away. It can be dancing in the living room, going for family hikes, playing tag, or riding bikes. The idea is to foster a love for movement itself.
That's a crucial distinction. Focusing on enjoyment over performance is key, especially in the early stages. When the pressure to perform is high, some girls can disengage. But when it's fun, they're more likely to stick with it. And this naturally leads to better skills over time.
And it's also about exposure to different activities. Not every girl will love soccer or gymnastics. Encouraging them to try a variety of sports and physical activities, maybe swimming, martial arts, or even rock climbing, helps them find what resonates with them. This exploration is part of discovering their strengths and preferences.
When they find something they truly enjoy, that's where the real confidence grows. They invest more time and effort, and the successes, big or small, become more meaningful. This is where we also see the development of other essential life skills, like teamwork and communication.
Teamwork is a huge one. In team sports, girls learn to cooperate, to communicate effectively with their teammates, and to understand the importance of playing their role for the good of the group. This is such a powerful lesson that extends far beyond the field. They learn that they are part of something bigger than themselves.
And it helps with communication, too. They learn to give and receive feedback, to strategize together, and to celebrate shared victories. This is very much linked to the assertiveness we discussed earlier. On a sports team, you often need to speak up, to call out plays, or to express your needs respectfully.
It's a practical classroom for assertiveness. They learn to voice their opinions and needs in a context where collaboration is valued. This can be incredibly empowering, especially for girls who might otherwise be hesitant to speak their minds.
Now, let's talk about competition. It's a natural part of many sports. How do we help girls navigate winning and losing in a way that builds confidence rather than crushing it?
This is where parental and coach support is vital. When they win, we can praise their effort and teamwork rather than just the outcome. You worked so hard together, or I saw how you encouraged your teammates. When they lose, the focus should be on learning and growth.
So, instead of saying, "Oh, you lost, that's too bad," we can say, "What did you learn from that game?" Or, "What could you try differently next time?" This reframes setbacks as opportunities for development, which is a cornerstone of resilience. Remember our discussion on resilience? This is a perfect example of putting that into practice.
Exactly. It's about teaching them that effort and learning are more important than a single win or loss. This helps them develop grit, the perseverance to keep going even when things are tough. It takes the sting out of defeat and makes success feel more earned.
And how we react as parents is critical. If we put too much pressure on them to win, or if we get overly upset about losses, they will absorb that anxiety. Our calm, supportive presence helps them see sports as a positive outlet and a place for growth, not a constant source of stress.
That's a great reminder. We are their role models. If we can approach challenges with a positive and growth-oriented mindset, they are more likely to do the same. It's also about managing expectations. Not every child will be a star athlete, and that's perfectly okay. The goal is participation, enjoyment, and personal development.
And that personal development encompasses so much. It's physical coordination, strategic thinking, emotional regulation when dealing with frustration, and building that sense of competence. When a girl feels capable in her body and in her ability to participate in physical activities, that confidence spills over into other areas of her life.
It truly does. It's that feeling of "I can do this" that becomes a powerful mantra. This confidence in physical activity can lead to greater confidence in tackling academic challenges, social situations, and future leadership roles. It's all interconnected.
Let's go back to the idea of play with might. What does that phrase really evoke for you in this context?
For me, it means approaching physical activity with enthusiasm and a sense of power. It's not about aggression. It's about an inner strength that comes with knowing you are capable and resilient. It's about having the courage to try, to push your boundaries a little, and to embrace the physical self.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Embracing the physical self. It's about celebrating the body's ability to move, to play, and to explore the world. And this exploration builds a deep-seated confidence that is truly unwavering.
So, to recap this important discussion on sports and physical activity, we encourage our daughters to find joy in movement, expose them to a variety of activities, and focus on effort and learning over outcomes. We help them navigate teamwork and competition with a growth mindset and model a healthy approach to winning and losing. This play with might approach builds a robust and lasting confidence.
And it's a confidence that empowers them to tackle any challenge, on or off the field. Remember, every step, every jump, every game is an opportunity to build that mighty confidence.
That's a fantastic way to wrap up this episode. We've seen how physical activity is so much more than just exercise. It's a powerful tool for building confidence, resilience, and a strong sense of self.
Next episode, Resilience Rising, bouncing back stronger from setbacks. Welcome back to Raise Confident Girls. Today we're diving into a skill vital for a life well lived, resilience.
That's so true, Alex. True strength emerges when we face setbacks. Today, we're focusing on helping our daughters develop that resilience, that ability to not just survive disappointment, but to actually learn and grow from it. It's about building that can-do attitude even when things feel tough.
At its core, resilience is the ability to adapt well in the face of adversity. It means bouncing back from difficult experiences. Think of it like a sturdy tree. When a strong wind blows, it might bend, but it doesn't break. It springs back into place.
That's a great analogy, Alex. A tree that's flexible but deeply rooted. So, how do we help our daughters develop those deep roots and that flexibility when they encounter life storms? It's not about shielding them from every single difficulty, is it?
Not at all. Shielding them too much can prevent them from learning how to cope. Instead, we want to equip them. One of the most powerful ways to foster resilience is by teaching them how to view challenges. Instead of seeing failure as a dead end, we encourage them to see it as a learning opportunity, a chance to try a different approach.
So, it's reframing. For instance, if a daughter doesn't make a team she tried out for, instead of dwelling on the disappointment, we can help her focus on what she learned from the tryout process. Maybe she can identify areas to practice more, or perhaps she discovers another activity she enjoys even more.
Precisely. And this ties back to our earlier discussions on self-trust. When a girl trusts herself, she's more likely to believe in her ability to overcome obstacles. She knows she can figure things out. We can build this by encouraging problem solving. When she faces a minor setback, maybe a toy breaks or a plan changes, instead of immediately fixing it for her, ask, "What could you do to fix this?" Or "What's another option?"
That empowers her to actively find solutions. It's like giving her a toolbox of coping strategies. What else can we nurture? I think emotional regulation plays a big part too. When a daughter feels overwhelmed by disappointment or frustration, how can we help her manage those big feelings so they don't paralyze her?
That's a crucial piece. We need to acknowledge and validate her feelings, of course. Saying things like, "I see you're really upset right now, and that's understandable," can be incredibly helpful. But then we can gently guide her towards coping mechanisms. This could be taking deep breaths, drawing her feelings out, talking to a trusted friend or adult, or engaging in a physical activity to release pent-up energy. Remember, building on our discussion about body positivity, encouraging healthy physical outlets for emotions connects beautifully here.
And this also reinforces the idea that her feelings are normal and manageable. It's not about suppressing emotions, but about learning to navigate them. So, to recap so far, reframing challenges as learning opportunities, encouraging problem solving, and helping with emotional regulation are key. What about the role of our own attitudes as parents?
Our attitudes are hugely influential. Our daughters look to us. If we react to every minor inconvenience with panic or despair, they'll absorb that. But if they see us facing challenges with a calm, problem-solving demeanor, and even a touch of optimism, they're more likely to adopt that approach themselves. Modeling resilience is perhaps the most effective teaching tool we have.
That's a good reminder to be mindful of our own reactions. It's not always easy, is it? Sometimes we want to swoop in and fix everything because we don't want them to hurt.
It's incredibly hard. But remember, those moments of struggle are where growth happens. Another vital component is fostering a strong support network. This means encouraging healthy friendships, as we discussed previously, and ensuring she knows she has trusted adults she can turn to. A sense of connection to others is a powerful buffer against stress.
So, knowing she's not alone in facing difficulties, that's a huge source of strength. And building on that, Alex, creating a sense of purpose or meaning can also fuel resilience. When a girl understands why she's working towards something, even if it's difficult, she's more likely to persevere.
Absolutely. And to reinforce these ideas, we can introduce the concept of a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that our abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work. This is the opposite of a fixed mindset, where we believe our qualities are simply set in stone.
Yes. The growth mindset. So, for resilience, this means believing that you can become more resilient through practice and effort, rather than thinking some people are just naturally resilient and others aren't.
Exactly. When dealing with a setback, someone with a growth mindset would think, okay, this is tough, but what can I learn from this to do better next time? Rather than, I'm just not good enough. So, encourage your daughter to focus on the process of learning and effort, not just the outcome. Praise her effort, her strategies, her perseverance, and her improvement.
That's excellent advice. So, let's try to synthesize what we've covered today. We've talked about resilience as the ability to bounce back from adversity. To foster it in our daughters, we should first, reframe challenges as learning opportunities rather than failures. Second, encourage problem solving and independence. Third, help our daughters develop emotional regulation skills. Fourth, model resilient behavior ourselves as parents. Fifth, build a strong support network for them, emphasizing connection. And finally, cultivate a growth mindset by praising effort and learning.
That's a fantastic summary, Lisa. And remember, all of this builds upon the foundations we've laid throughout this series. The self-trust from episode 4, the assertiveness from episode 7, the social navigation skills from episode 8. Resilience is like the glue that holds all these confident traits together when life inevitably throws curveballs.
It really is. It's about equipping our daughters with the inner strength and the practical skills to navigate life's ups and downs, not letting those downs define them, but rather allowing them to learn and rise higher.
And that brings us to the penultimate episode of our series. Next time, we'll be bringing it all together as we explore how to integrate and sustain this empowered, confident life for our daughters.
Thanks for listening.
Bringing it all together to talk about creating a truly confident life.
It's been an incredible journey, Alex. We've covered so much, from building a foundation of boldness to navigating social pressures, academic and athletic pursuits, and even bouncing back from challenges. This episode is all about how to weave these lessons into the fabric of everyday life, making confidence a lasting trait.
Exactly, Lisa. Think of it like building a magnificent house. We've laid the strong foundation, constructed the sturdy walls, and installed the windows and doors. Now, it's time to furnish the rooms and make it a beautiful, functional home where your daughter feels secure and empowered every single day. This isn't about a one-time fix. It's about integrating these principles so they become second nature.
So, how do we start integrating these concepts into daily life? What does that look like practically?
It starts with consistent reinforcement. Remember, creating opportunities for your daughter to practice being bold, even in small ways. It could be encouraging her to share her opinion during family discussions, asking a question in class, or initiating a play date. The key is to celebrate these moments, not just the grand successes, but the brave attempts.
That makes sense. It's about making those skills, like assertiveness, a regular part of her communication toolkit. Instead of waiting for a big conflict, encourage her to express her needs or boundaries clearly and respectfully in everyday situations. For instance, if she doesn't like a certain food, instead of just pushing it away, she can say, "Mom, I don't really care for peas. Can I have something else?"
Precisely. And this ties directly into encouraging voices of leadership. Leadership isn't just about being in charge. It's about contributing, influencing, and taking initiative. Encourage her to take on age-appropriate responsibilities at home, like helping plan a family meal or organizing a small community cleanup. These experiences build a sense of agency and demonstrate that her voice and actions matter.
And we can't forget about self-trust. This means allowing her to make age-appropriate choices and even learn from her mistakes. Instead of always swooping in to fix things, let her try to solve a problem herself, whether it's figuring out a tricky Lego build or resolving a minor disagreement with a sibling. This builds that vital inner certainty.
Absolutely. It's about fostering resilience, too. Life will inevitably present challenges. By allowing her to navigate smaller bumps in the road, she develops the capacity to bounce back from bigger setbacks. This isn't about shielding her from difficulty, but about equipping her with the mental and emotional tools to overcome it. When she faces a disappointment, like not making a particular team, guide her through acknowledging her feelings, reflecting on what she learned, and then encouraging her to set a new goal.
It sounds like a lot of it comes down to creating an environment where vulnerability is accepted and effort is applauded. So, for parents, it's about being mindful of how we respond to our daughter's experiences, both positive and negative. Promoting a positive self-image, focusing on health and strength rather than just appearance, helps build a lifelong foundation of self-acceptance.
Indeed, and we can't overlook the power of positive self-talk. Encourage her to notice her own positive affirmations. If she says something like, "I'm so bad at math," gently redirect her with, "You found that tricky, but you kept trying. What did you learn from that problem?" Teaching her to reframe negative thoughts is a powerful technique that will serve her throughout her life.
This is all about creating a supportive ecosystem, isn't it? One where these confidence-building principles are not just abstract ideas, but lived experiences. It's about weaving these threads: boldness, self-trust, leadership, assertiveness, resilience, and a positive self-image into the everyday tapestry of her life.
That's a beautiful way to put it, Lisa. And it's a continuous process. As parents, we are her most important role models. By demonstrating healthy self-esteem, resilience, and confidence in our own lives, we provide a powerful example. Share your own experiences of overcoming challenges, celebrate your own accomplishments, and show her what a confident life looks like in action.
So, to recap for our listeners, integrating confidence is about consistent practice in small ways, encouraging decision-making and problem-solving, celebrating effort over just outcome, fostering resilience through navigating challenges, promoting a positive self-image, and modeling confident behavior ourselves. It's about making these principles a habitual part of your family's life.
And remember those gender stereotypes we discussed? Continuing to challenge those norms in everyday conversations and activities is vital. Encourage your daughter to explore interests regardless of traditional gender expectations, whether it's building robots, pursuing a passion for fashion, or excelling in any field she chooses.
That's so important. It's about ensuring she feels free to be her authentic self without the constraints of societal expectations. And this is a journey, right? It's not a destination we've reached with this series, but a path we've illuminated.
Precisely. This is the culmination of our series, but it's just the beginning of your daughter's confident life journey. The tools and strategies we've discussed are designed to empower you as parents to nurture this lifelong confidence. Keep nurturing that boldness, that self-trust, and that assuredness.
It's about creating a future where she can face any challenge with grace, embrace opportunities with enthusiasm, and live a life brimming with self-belief and purpose. We've covered the unwavering foundation, decoding boldness, challenging the norms, the art of self-trust, body positivity, voices of leadership, the assertiveness advantage, navigating the social seas, academic aces, play with might, and resilience rising. Now, it's time for her to live it.
This marks the end of our series, raise confident girls. It's been an absolute pleasure exploring these vital topics with you and our listeners. We hope you've gained valuable insights and feel equipped to continue fostering confidence in your daughters.
Thank you for joining us on this empowering journey. We wish you and your daughters all the very best as you build a life filled with boldness, self-trust, and lasting confidence.
Thanks for listening to the series.